Today, you can do a fraction of the money, send it to us. The dollars will go farther because we're cutting out the bureaucracy.
President Trump and his administration have been at the center of numerous lawsuits and legal rulings against some of his orders, ranging from immigration to cuts to the federal government. Florida Congresswoman Kat Cammack says the lawsuits equate to lawfare against the president.
This is lawfare, pure and simple. And just because you don't like the outcome of an election doesn't mean that you can use your power and abuse it for political purposes.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says Democrats are delusional because the driving force behind everything they do is their hatred of Donald Trump.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Again, they are so, their hatred for Donald Trump fuels everything that they do. And it's the only reason for the Democrat Party today. And it's unfortunate for the American public and for Democrat voters who are looking to their party for real leadership. Well, they should become Republicans, because if you look at what President Trump and Elon Musk are doing, we're making this government more efficient. We are being more accountable to the American taxpayer. We are securing our southern border. Producing law and order in this country, securing our homeland. These are basic common sense principles. The Democrat Party is the party of crazy. The Republican Party, thanks to Donald Trump, is the party of common sense.
An immigration enforcement organization says a left-wing judge seems to think that the rights of gang members from Venezuela outweigh the safety and security of the American public.
There continues to be a media buzz related to the order by Obama-appointed Judge James Boasberg to turn around 2 planes loaded with Tren de Aragua terrorists headed for El Salvador and return to the United States. President Trump ignored the order, saying the planes were in international airspace and therefore not subject to the judge's jurisdiction. The president maintains that he has the right to remove dangerous criminal aliens under the Criminal Aliens Act passed by Congress in 1798. Ira Melman is media director for the Federation for American Immigration Reform.
Obviously, everything is now on hold until the judge's ruling is appealed. But look, the president is making a very valid point here. You have an organization, in this case, Tren de Aragua, that he has declared to be a public safety threat, that it is considered to be an enemy of the United States, and that we have an obligation as a nation to keep them out of this country and to protect the security of the people here.
Melman says this is clearly a dangerous terrorist organization.
We have seen the damage, the havoc that Tren de Aragua has brought about in many places in the country, the people whose lives have been lost as a result of this. And the judge seems to think that the rights of gang members from Venezuela outweigh the safety and security of the American public. And I'm not sure that the American public would really buy into that argument.
I'm Chad, groaning.
Sales of previously occupied U.S. homes rose in February as easing mortgage rates and more properties on the market encouraged home shoppers. More news online at afn.net and the AFN mobile app. I'm Rusty P.
Hey, we're announcing a weekend with AFA on Thursday, October the 2nd through Saturday, October the 4th. We'll have a weekend get-together with AFA leadership and supporters. It's a chance for all of us to get better acquainted.
It's a weekend with AFA, Thursday, October 2nd through Saturday, October 4th in Tupelo, Mississippi. Speakers will include Abraham Hamilton III, Jenna Ellis, Tim Barton, Tim Wildman, and more. Register at afa.net/weekend.
It's First Time Caller Day on Trivia Friday. The number to call with your question or your answer to a question is 888-589-8840.
It is first-time callers, so start lining up, folks. If you've never been on the show with us, today could be your day.
So first-time callers only today. Now we're going to ask 3 questions each.
The quack of a duck does not produce an echo. Is that true or false?
That falls under the category of it's just wrong. Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Trivia Friday on American Family Radio. Thanks for listening to AFR. Trivia Friday is here again, and we also call this Learning University. Learning University is on the air. I'm Tim Wildman with Ed Vitagliano. Good morning, Ed.
Good morning, Tim.
Give us a good thought for the day, Ed. What's your positive outlook on this Friday? As we look before us, we've still got about 18 hours left in this.
I'm sorry. I'm just going to have to bust your bubble. Every day is not a Friday, okay? Every day is a Monday.
Wow.
And, folks, you're just going to have to get used to it. That's the way life is. You're going to have to put on your big boy britches and just get used to the fact that today is not going to go the way you intended.
If you want to invite Ed to speak at your event,
as a motivational speaker,
as an inspirational/motivational speaker, then we'll give you his email address a little bit later on.
There'll be disappointments today that you never dreamed possible.
Yeah. Oral Roberts was quite the opposite from you, Ed. How you doing, brother JJ?
I'm doing great. You know how they throw the ball into the crowd after winning? They don't allow that in bowling. I know that now.
Bowling, you don't throw the ball into the crowd. I
No,
got you.
they'll
All
let
right.
you do it once, and then that's that. You no more.
It's first-time callers today, so you were eligible to be on the air with us, by if you've never been on the air with us before. That's the only rule or stipulation we have today. The phone number is 888. This is to call us and be on the air and ask and answer. We prefer that you do that. Answer a trivia question, which we're about to give, or ask us one. 888-589-8840. 888-589-8840.
This kind of disproves what I just said. There are some people who are going to get on this show. They never dreamed that would be possible.
Yeah.
And today it's going to happen.
But they may flop. You know what I'm saying?
So,
according to your worldview, Ed, the chances of them doing well on the show are 50-50.
Disappointments galore.
All right, what other ground rules we got there, JJ?
Well, we want you to ask and answer. We've got these great trivia questions. We're going to have a lot of fun, but we're actually going to learn some things. So
it's the age thing.
What
the
is
age
it?
thing?
Age? Oh, yeah. The age limit, 12 years old, 11 years old. What is it?
That's 11
I'm not
years
here very
old.
often. I'm just here on Fridays.
Yeah, it's you have to be 11 years old or older. Now, if you're 120 years old, you're not allowed to call in.
You're allowed to keep getting your Social Security check, but you're not allowed to call in until Doge catches up with you.
Yeah. By the way, so 3 questions each is what we 3 professors will ask here in just a moment. And one of those questions is a mystery question.
Mystery question.
And that means if you happen to answer it, you'll hear this sound.
Ah, the beloved cowbell.
And that beloved cowbell will signify
mean that all the world will know
that you have won an AFR ball cap.
A ball cap.
Or
Nice.
a farmer's
Nice
cap,
looking.
or one you can wear out in the garden, or one you can wear at a Cracker Barrel, wherever your heart desires. Because every day is full of opportunities
to wear your ball cap.
To wear your AFR ball cap. And
Yeah.
by the way, if you would like to see what they look like, or you'd like to purchase one, because there's only one. Technically, there's only one available through the mystery question. Sometimes we might toss 1 or 2 more out. But if you want to check them out or buy one, you can go to our resource center. That's resources.afa.net, resources.afa.net.
All right. Shall we?
We shall.
Go ahead, Ed.
All right, here are my 3 questions. First one, folks, is a multiple choice.
Multiple choice.
Okay, so you got to listen. Burkina Faso. That's a name. Burkina Faso.
You dated her in high school, didn't you?
I tried to date all the Faso girls, but I couldn't get a date with any
They had
of
brothers.
them. big brothers.
The big brothers.
Big brothers.
Like giants in the land, brothers.
Burkina Faso, is that the name of a character in the Star Wars universe? A country in Africa? A radical Islamic group in the Philippines? Or a swimwear company popular with Gen Z? Burkina Faso. I'm pretty proud of that question.
I hope you just like saying Burkina
Yeah,
Faso.
you ought to be
I
proud of
like
that.
saying it.
Yeah, I would order that from the menu.
Burkina Faso. And can you
With
bring a
some
little
broccoli-
extra salsa
Yeah,
for
some
that?
broccoli on the side.
All right, in the 400-meter hurdles in the Olympics or other track and field events, how many hurdles will a runner jump in the 400-meter hurdles? This is
JJ's a hurdler. He should know this.
You should.
I practiced for hurdling in high school, and you say, that looks difficult. No, it's harder than it looks. With you even watching it, going as fast as you can, measuring those steps. and then bring one of your legs up like a chicken wing and get it sideways up under you.
Hey, let me ask you,
Stretch
you're
the other
you
one
did
right out.
hurdle, right? You
Practice for it and didn't actually do it in a thing, but I ran track for a minute.
My question would be, just real quickly, do you know, I'm assuming you do, as a hurdler, that you're off, your steps are off, and that next hurdle is likely to be your downfall? Do you know this? And you adjust for it?
You don't walk it off. You just take off in practice, and you just take off running, and you get a cadence. And after you get to the first one, if you're successful, then just kind of like a jogger will kind of, 1, 2, 3, breathe, 1, 2, 3, and they kind of get a rhythm going. But you didn't walk it off. You just, So to answer your question, I'm not real sure because it was really, really difficult. I was the relay runner with the baton. So people say, make sure you pass the baton. I was telling Melanie once, had a chance to do a sermon, and I said, I want to talk about our legacy because you hear everybody, make sure you pass the baton. I said, I'm guessing 99% of the people have never run a relay race and passed an actual baton. So I did that, and I was a sprinter just for a minute. But yeah, I wasn't good enough to actually be a hurdler in the meets. But I practiced for
That's a long
while.
answer to say no.
That is a long answer. I don't. Yeah, sorry. No, I don't know if you're. I don't know if you're off, but you're off more often than you're on because it's hard to go as fast as you can and jump something that's as high as your waist or a little higher.
Yeah. That was a question, by the way, from my granddaughter Stella. She comes up with these great questions. And then the third question: what is the name of the large river that flows through London? What is the name of the large river that flows through London? That's what I've got.
Here's what I've got. First question. 4 U.S. states do not allow billboards. Billboards along the highway are illegal in 4 states. Name 2 of them.
Wow.
Second, I should have used it as true or false. Second question. What American singer-songwriter wrote and first recorded the song Blue Suede Shoes? And no, it wasn't Elvis. So your knee-jerk reaction, I know.
I think we had that.
There's your hint. Well, then I'll add another one.
Is it this? Is that the answer?
That's the answer.
Yeah.
So everybody's thinking about brackets, March Madness. Let's test your memory. I know it's been a year ago. The 4 teams that got down to the Final Four last year, 2024, I just named 3 of them. Name me 3 of the teams that were in the Final Four. I can't remember what I had for breakfast oftentimes, but surely when you're filling out your bracket, somebody can remember, it got down to these 4 teams, and just tell me 3 of them.
3 of the
4. All right,
4.
so Shirley, when you fill out your bracket.
Shirley knows?
Yeah, Shirley knows.
She knows.
Shirley knows.
She's out there.
All right, here we go. Here are my 3 questions, and then we shall go to the phones for first-time callers only. Okay, so Jesus is the most mentioned name in the Bible. I want to know the second and third most mentioned names in the Bible, and you don't have to get them in order, just the name of the people.
Okay.
Okay, so Jesus Christ is number 1. And I want to know the second and most third mentioned people in the Bible being Old and New Testament. Number 2, as per usual, I have a baby boomer question.
Come on.
Boom your baby. You ready?
I'm ready.
Say it where we can hear it out of our good ear.
Okay. How much longer is Social Security going to last? I'm going to give you the years to pick from, okay? Multiple choice.
Right.
No, here's the question, the real question. Name 3, and if you can I want you to do this, if you can do this one off the top of your head without looking it up or asking somebody else, I'll send you an AFR ball cap.
There you go.
Because it's not an easy question. Name 3 singing duo variety shows from the 1970s.
Oh, good.
Everybody knows these shows. Everybody knows these names.
Duos.
If you're baby boomers.
If you're a baby boomer.
So I want to know, name 3 singing duo variety shows from the 1970s. Okay? Everybody got that?
Got it.
And number 3, speaking of actors and actresses, This actor is known for his hit TV cop shows going back to the 80s. Hint, he is also known for his mustache. Okay? This actor is known for his hit TV cop shows going back to the 80s. And he's also known for his mustache. So everybody got that one?
Got it.
Absolutely. And if he was famous in the 80s, then he's also famous for his reverse mortgage commercials now.
Well, he has a repertoire.
All right.
You know the answer, obviously. You do too.
Oh, I
probably.
didn't
know
even.
the answer.
It's pretty easy.
I knew the answer, but I have
Yeah.
no idea about the reverse mortgage thing.
I've done that reverse mortgage.
You have done one of those commercials?
Twice. No, not a commercial. I've reversed my mortgage twice.
Your kids can fend for themselves. Your house is
Well,
be able to
you got to
go
look
where you
out for
wanna
number
go.
one,
How did
baby.
you do it
that's
twice?
That's what the Bible says. Am I right? Huh?
I'm going to do a reverse life insurance thing.
Sell your life insurance.
That's right.
Let's go to the phone before this show gets off the tracks.
No,
Before
I'm going
it
to
goes off the rails.
use up my insurance,
Before
and
it
then in 10
does.
years, they get to kill me.
It's dark. That's some dark stuff right
Yes,
there.
it is. So speaking of dark, let's go to Washington State. And Vicky is on the line. Vicky,
Hurling insults. Just hurling them. Like slapping a
Vicky
terror.
knows what I'm talking about, don't you, Vicky? Welcome to Trivia Friday.
Good morning, esteemed professors. I'll forgive you for that dig because I feel the same way about the state.
Hi,
Well,
Vicky.
my sister also lives in Washington. She lives in Olympia, and she's about ready to move, she said. Anyway, we don't need to go there. So welcome to Trivia Friday, kind of long distance here. I know you're paying by the minute, like we old school. You want to ask, answer, or do both?
I would like to do both, please.
All right, which question you want to answer?
I think I'll take Tim's Bible question.
Okay, Vicky, here is the question. Jesus is the most mentioned name in the Bible, mentioned 1,281 times.
Wow.
I want to know, what are the second and third most mentioned names in the Bible?
The second should be David, and the third, Moses.
You got it.
Wow.
You got it.
Hey, she won a cap for that, right?
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Is that the one you said?
Is that the one you said?
Oh, no, I don't remember. Which one did you say?
I don't remember. No, I think that was the 70 shows.
Oh, yeah,
okay.
70 shows. Sorry about that. I got
Hey, did you know that? Did you have to ask somebody to look it up, or did you just know that?
I think I would have known it if I weren't nervous about being on, and my brain wouldn't work. So,
Okay. Well, that's okay.
Yeah,
Listen,
great job.
hey, just for living in the state of Washington and shining your light, Vicky, we're going to send you a ball cap.
There we
Amen.
go.
There you go.
Okay.
Here we go.
I'm the
that's
reverse.
fantastic. Thank you.
You know, I'm the reversed Elon Musk right here. You know what I'm saying? Elon taketh away, Tim giveth. How
There you
about that?
go. There you
I'm,
go.
I'm just teasing. So I like what Elon Musk is doing, by
I
the
do-
way.
I do
Okay,
too.
so anyway, you're right. David was mentioned 971 times. That's number 2.
Okay.
And then Moses is number 3 with 803 times. And then after that, it drops way off. Like Jacob, Saul, Aaron, those are down into the 300s.
Yeah.
So by far, Jesus, David, and Moses are the most mentioned names in the Bible. So we'll need to get your address.
Yeah, just stay on the line. We'll put after you ask your question, we'll put you on hold.
Yeah.
So don't hang up, and Cindy Roberts will get your information, Vicky, and we will send you an AFR ball cap.
Hey, Vicky, do you know where a town named Linden is? You ever heard of
I
it?
don't.
Or you know
it's
where
a very big state.
you know where Bellingham is?
I do, yes.
Okay. I've got a really good friend who lives there north of Bellingham in a little community named Linden, not far from the Canadian
Okay.
border. Do you live in Sunnyside?
No,
Which part of the state do you live in?
I live in a town called Stillicum, and it's just south of Tacoma. So, no, I'm on the
got you.
rainy side.
I got you.
One of my
Okay.
son-in-laws grew up in Tacoma.
Oh,
My sons drove one.
I was just beat me to it.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
That's good.
All right, Vicky, go ahead, fire away.
Okay, I recently watched a fantastic documentary called Cultural Warrior, and this movie featured a hit song from 1993 titled The Great Adventure. Who was the artist of that song?
Stephen Curtis Chapman, who hails from Paducah, Kentucky area.
I will echo JJ's.
That's correct.
Yes.
Wow, great.
Stephen Curtis. That was a great song. And we did use it in the documentary about my dad.
Great song, great movie, culturewarrior.movie, culturewarrior.movie, the life, the legacy, the impact of Brother Don Wildman, Tim's father. It's streaming for free. We encourage you to watch it this weekend. Now, probably 12 years old and older because of all the battles that he faced in the culture. One thing you'll absolutely take away, you'll be inspired. What did you get from the movie?
I was growing up during that time, but I wasn't in the church. And so a lot of what I learned was new about Mr. Wildman. It was just amazing the amount of energy and courage that he had for decades.
Thank you, Vicki, and appreciate that very much.
Tim, I had a chance to be on a program just this week to talk about the movie with Dr. Nurse Mama, and I said his tirelessness, how he had a laser focus, and all. The only way that I could compare it, if you didn't work around him and know him like we did, it's like what people witnessed with President Trump. You say, how can somebody have that much energy to do that many things in such a short days? Listen, we put 100 radio stations on the air in 4 years. That's 2 stations a month. Who can possibly do that? Anybody that's ever built a home, the zoning, the pouring the slab, the tower, 2 a month, put 100 stations on the air in 4 years. But he really was an amazing, larger-than-life man. And we don't glorify the man. That was what God will take an ordinary person and do extraordinary things through their life.
Hey, Vicki, well done, and thank you for your kind words about Culture Warrior. So I'm going to put you on hold. And
Hey, I got one more question for Vicki.
Okay, all right.
Vicki, how did you learn about our? We don't have a radio tower there where you live. You listen on the app, I guess, right?
I do.
Yeah.
And my husband actually turned me on to Trivia Friday.
Okay.
And I think that he's in the Army, and so he probably picked it up in a different state where he could listen on the radio.
I got you. Well, thank you, Vicki. God bless you. Have a great day. Keep listening to American Family Radio.
I'm going to put you on hold,
Yeah, hold.
and get your information.
Congratulations
Well done.
for
Yeah.
winning the cap.
Amen. All right, let's go to North Carolina, and Charlene is on the line. Charlene, welcome to Trivia Friday.
Hello, how are you?
Hey, good, Charlene. Thanks for calling. Where do you live in North Carolina?
My husband told me I live in Warrenburg because I forgot and told I lived in Indiana, which is not where I live now.
Oh, okay.
So I was kind of nervous.
Hey, I get like that every time I walk in the kitchen. I can't remember what I went in there for, so don't feel bad about that.
Me too, because I don't cook.
Hey,
and you're medicated.
Oh, man, this is...
and you're medicated.
Hey, Charlene, your last name's not Darling, is it?
No, thank you, it's not.
Hey, you know what? This is like we're not.
Do you know why I asked that? Because
yes,
Andy Griffith.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You know, we're not prophets or the son of a prophet, but it's crazy how we can forecast who's going to sleep on the couch tonight.
Yes.
Isn't that amazing that we can just kind of look into the future? We know one guy in North Carolina is going to sleep on the couch.
All right, Charlene, and your fan club there behind you. You want to ask, answer, or do both?
Do both, please.
All right. Which one do you want to try to answer?
I'm just going to give you the answer to the question. The mustache, yeah. This is my first time, obviously.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
80s,
Yeah, great.
All right.
Well,
what's the question?
Okay, the question before us is this. This actor is known for his hit TV cop shows going back to the 80s. And he's also known for his mustache. Who am I talking about, Carmela?
That would be Mr. Tom Selleck.
Yep,
Nice
Tom
done.
Selleck.
Yeah.
Maybe the best mustache of all
All right,
time.
for a ball cap, I'm getting free with these things, aren't I? Huh?
Yeah, it's all right.
For a ball cap, well, and y'all can decide there, Carmela, Charlene, who wears it. I want to know the 2 shows he's most known for.
Magnum PI and the one that's on now, or is it in the 80s, the second show you want to know?
No, you Magnum PI is one of them. What's the other one?
Right. Something with blue, the name blue in it. Family. Blue. There you go.
Blue Blood.
Nicely done.
Yeah, and that show just ended, by the way, after like 13 seasons. But yes, Tom Selleck, and known for that thick black mustache.
I would say his mustache or Sam Elliott won.
Sam Elliott.
Probably
the
two best mustaches in television and movie history.
Yeah. Tom Selleck keeps his trims a little bit more than Sam Elliott. He didn't give a rip.
It's kind
of he doesn't care.
Kind of a wild
west.
Yeah,
let it grow, let it go. Okay, so Tom Selleck is the answer to the question.
Yeah, does he do reverse mortgage commercials? I was just kidding.
He does something like that on TV.
Oh yeah. No, he's talking about who's our winner? What's the one we talked about?
Tom Selleck.
Yeah, Tom Selleck. He does reverse mortgage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I was just kidding about that.
No, he does.
Yeah.
He's like so sincere. He had me talked into it twice. Melanie said we couldn't do it.
All right, Charlene, what's your question for us?
This is a question from my husband. What was the longest at-bat pro in baseball?
In pro baseball.
In pro baseball.
You mean like at the plate?
Yes.
Yes.
How many pitches? And time.
Oh, okay.
Now I'm not really following the question. What is it?
The longest.
You don't have a shot. You don't have a shot anyway.
Okay.
So ain't no point in really.
Were they a hurdler
laying it out for you?
And a baseball player?
No, what they're talking about is
who was at the plate more times?
No.
Okay.
No. Who was at the plate for a single at bat the longest period of time, which would include a lot of foul balls.
A lot of foul balls. I got you.
So that's what he's talking about. That's what she's talking. They're talking about.
Right.
I don't know.
I've seen a lot of them.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess.
Feel like they set some kind of record.
You want the time, or you want the
how many
number
pitches?
of pitches?
Pitches and time. Either one.
Okay.
I'm going to say 15.
I was going to get one or two of them.
I'm going to say 15 pitches. I'm just going to throw a number out there.
It's got to
I've
be more than that.
watched 7 or 8 before.
I'm going to say 27 pitches.
What?
Yeah, I'll say 30 pitches.
You're talking about the history of pro baseball.
I know, but still, that's just a lot of foul balls.
7 minutes. 7 minutes. Go ahead. What is it?
We're almost at the break. Go ahead,
21 pitches in 13 minutes.
Wow.
How many pitches?
21.
21?
21 pitches in 13 minutes.
Who was it?
I knew.
I didn't write it down. She has my phone.
You're blaming your wife a second time, brother. That's
not going good for you.
That's my day. That's my day.
All right.
Thank you all.
Hey, Charlene.
Thank you, Charlene. Hold on.
Stay on the line. I'll put you on hold. And we'll get your information and send you a box.
Every time I hear the name Charlene, I think about that song, Billy Bob Loves Charlene. The John Deere Green. You ever heard that?
No.
Joe Diffie?
He thinks of Charlene Darling.
It's my turn.
Here is your host for My Turn, Don Wildman.
And he said to them, "Go into all the world and preach the gospel to the whole creation." Some years ago, I made what was to me a startling discovery. I was reading about what happened on that Good Friday in Jerusalem nearly a couple of thousand years ago. I read again about how they hung that man among men on those 2 sticks of wood. I could feel the blows of the hammer as they drove the nails into his palms. I could feel the jar as the cross was dropped into its hole, and came to rest with a terrific jolt. The flesh ripped and the blood spurted. You remember the rest of the events. You remember how the crowd jeered him, made fun of him, jokingly dared him to come down. It was a scene that has been repeated often in the history of mankind. Over and over again, that lowly Galilean has been nailed to those 2 pieces of wood. Many times we've stood around jeering him, making fun of his claims, slashing his side with our selfish spears. But you can remember also that the story didn't end on that dark day. Finding an unused tomb in a garden nearby, they laid him in it. And then, because the next day was an especially holy one, hardly anyone moved. But Saturday is always followed by Sunday, and on Sunday those who loved him found what all who have loved him since have found, an empty tomb. I said I made what was to me a startling discovery. I had thought of that cross and that empty tomb as the most dynamic events in history. I had always considered these as the top jewels to place on a crown of greatness. But now I see that they weren't the greatest part of his faith. Now I can see that for years my sight just did not go far enough to find the most tremendous event in the history of mankind. Now I can see what the greatest part of this carpenter's faith is, and it's amazing. He entrusted the work of his church to those 11 men, those disciples, who had just prior to the resurrection betrayed him. That, without a doubt, is the grandest thing about him, that he trusted common people with the responsibility of his church. Can we see that? Can we understand what it means? That he should give the greatest responsibility ever known to mankind to those 11 men? That is, without question, the highest sign of his love and his trust in mankind. He entrusted his kingdom not to the high and mighty, to the great and gallant, to the brave and brilliant, but to common people. And he goes on entrusting his church to common, plain, ordinary folk. How great his trust in us, that he should give to plain folk the tremendous privilege of carrying on his work, speaks of his great trust in the common person. No one would have dared to trust those 11 men with such a great responsibility except the Nazarene. No one else had such a trust in common folk like you and me. So the next time you're inclined to lose hope in mankind, give it a thought.
This has been My Turn with Don Wildman, a production of the American Family Association.
A bruised reed he will not break, and a smoldering wick he will not extinguish. He will faithfully bring forth justice. He will not grow weak or discouraged before he has established justice on the earth. In his law the islands will put their hope. Isaiah 42, 3 and 4.
American Family Radio.
They say we're young and we don't know. We won't find out till we grow. Well, I don't know if all that's true, 'cause you got me, baby, I got you. I got you, baby.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen.
I got you, baby.
I don't know what night that came on in the 70s, but
I don't remember, but I liked it.
Sonny and Cher show.
I love that song. It's
a great song.
Yeah.
All right, so great. I don't know. Good to great.
It's catchy, snappy.
Yeah, it's a catchy, snappy song. That's what they were known for. All right, let's reset our questions, then we'll go back to the phones for our first-time callers today.
Oh, I like it.
Here on Trivia Friday. By the way, you're listening to American Family Radio. We do have this show archived immediately. Well, within an hour or so after the show finishes, we will have it in our podcast section. Go to afr.net, American Family Radio, and then you'll see the podcast banner and the banners of the shows, Trivia Friday, and we'll have it there, as we have a lot of our previous Trivia Friday shows at that website, afr.net. Go ahead, Ed. Repeat our questions.
Here, my first question is a multiple choice.
Multiple choice.
And I hope no one answers this so I can continue to say this all show long. Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso is a name. Is it a name of a character in the Star Wars universe, a country in Africa, a radical Islamic group in the Philippines, or a swimwear company popular with Gen Z? The name Burkina Faso. Or is it an insult that baby boomers used to use on the playground in the 50s?
My coach used to use it.
Yeah.
My basketball coach.
Yeah. Such a
Wildman,
Faso.
Got me some Burkina Fascos right now. I want 10
Get
of
down
them.
and give
I
me
want
10
10
of
of them.
To go.
If you don't run your Burkina Fasos, you ain't playing.
Set those cones up. Let's see you go around.
Did you never hear that?
No.
In basketball?
No. Is that kind of when you ran lines?
Yeah.
There's nothing
You ran
worse
lines, and then you had to do your Burkina Fascos. And if you didn't do them, you weren't going to play. I don't care how good you. Well, he did care how good you were.
Yeah. All that stuff about the person who tries hardest is that's who's going to play the game. That doesn't really
it's whoever
happen.
scores the most points.
Yes, exactly.
That's
right.
life.
All right, here's my second question. In the 400-meter hurdles in the Olympics and other track and field events,
Which JJ did some for a minute.
Yes,
Yeah,
for a minute. How many hurdles will a runner jump? How many hurdles will runner hurdle if a hurdle runner can hurdle?
Hurdle runners.
That's if it falls alone in the forest.
That's right.
This is in the 400-meter hurdles. How many hurdles will the runner jump?
Oh.
And that's from my granddaughter, Stella. And then third question, what is the name of the large river that flows through London? All right, that's what I've got.
Here's what I've got. First question. 4 U.S. states do not allow billboards along the highway. Billboards are illegal along the highway in 4 U.S. states. I just need you to name 2 of them. Second question, what American singer-songwriter wrote and first recorded the song Blue Suede Shoes? Here's a hint. It wasn't Elvis. I know that's what you think. He made it hugely popular,
right,
but he didn't write it or sing it first. Third question, everybody's thinking about brackets, or a lot of sports fans talking about NCAA March Madness. Last year, the 4 teams that got down to the Final Four, I just need you to name 3 of them. What were 3 of the 4 teams that made it to the Final Four? Let's see how good your memory is.
All right, 2 of my 3 questions have been answered already, so I'm gonna add one. Okay, so this question though has not been answered, although you got a little hint right there on a partial answer from the song. This is for baby boomers. You can answer it if you're not a baby boomer, but I always like to have a baby boomer question. Name 3 singing duo variety shows from the 1970s. And we all baby boomers know these names and know these singers and so forth. Name 3 singing duo variety shows from the 70s. Number 2, I'll add a question here. Clementines, Tangelos, and Temples are types of what? And these aren't like Old Testament pagan gods. Okay, I know that's what people are thinking.
Burning incense to Clementine.
I'm hearing a song in my head. Oh, my darling. Oh, my darling.
Clementines, Tangelos, and Temples are types of what? I want to know the answer to that. All right, let's go, Ed.
All right, we go to Texas, and Carmela is on the line. Carmela, welcome to Trivia Friday.
Hey, thank you so much. I really enjoy hearing you all every Friday morning when I can listen during work.
Don't get in trouble.
Thank you, Carmela.
No.
Well, where do you live in Texas, Carmela?
I'm in Frisco, Dallas area.
Yeah, all right.
You're are you over there by that Top Golf?
There's one in the Colony, not too far from here.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, ask, answer, or both?
I would like to do both, please.
Okay. Which one do you want to answer?
I want to answer the 3 vocal duos from the 70s, even though technically I'm not a baby boomer.
Okay. What are you, in your 40s?
I'm supposed to do that.
Yeah, you don't have to answer that, Carmela.
I guess under. So you're in your 30s or 40s, right?
It's just that's a different way of asking an inappropriate question.
Right.
Okay.
And then we're going to need to know how much you weigh, Carmela. He wants to know.
She's the one who said I'm not a baby boomer, so I wanted to know what range are you? All right.
Technically, I'm a Gen Xer, so I'm in the 50s.
I got you. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Here's the question.
Here's the question that Carmela, in her 50s, but doesn't sound a day over 44 to me, is going to answer. Name 3 singing duo variety shows from the 1970s. Carmela, go.
Well, you were playing one from Sonny and Cher, and then Captain and Tennille, and then Donnie and Marie.
Oh,
Way!
wow. Great.
That is,
I
you did
forgot about
excellent.
Captain and Tennille.
Yeah, Sonny and Cher, they're probably the most well-known, 1971 to 1974. And then you said who? You said the Captain and Tennille and Donnie and Marie?
Yes.
Boy,
You're
Donnie
right.
and Marie were popular.
Donnie and Marie actually had the most episodes. They were from 75 to 79 with their variety show. And then the Captain and Tennille, they were only on for 2 years.
Can you guys think of a couple more? Because that was a kind of the
singing
thing back then.
singing duos.
For television
Who did
shows?
you have on your list, Tim, for the answers?
Well, now the Everly Brothers show was from That only lasted 1 year. Like they bombed.
They were in the 70s. Their show.
Well, they are from the 50s. That's when their popularity.
Boy,
was.
they could sing too. Those guys.
Yeah, but their show only had 10 episodes, and it was only for 1 year.
Oh wow.
1970. So they didn't make it in the TV business. But you're right. You got it, Carmela. Sonny and Cher, Captain and Tennille, and Donnie and Marie.
Now, wasn't that for a cap? Was the cap up?
Yeah, it
grabs
was.
on that
You're
one?
right,
Yes.
JJ. You're right, JJ. So we're going to send you the ball cap, Carmela.
Another Sanford and Son. That was another one, wasn't it?
Yeah, they had some hits.
Yeah.
They were right there with, the Bee Gees.
I'm coming
They
to see
rivaled the Bee
Elizabeth.
Gees.
Coming to
in
see
the 70s.
Elizabeth.
Yeah, that was on the B side.
Yeah,
45.
Sanford.
So that was a ball cap question. Good.
Yes, he threw that out early
Yeah.
on.
Well,
What's your-
Carmela, you won a ball cap, so that's a good thing. You probably didn't expect that to happen today.
And we're going to also throw in Ed's book of inspiration, which has his daily devotion on inspirational thoughts.
Every day is a Monday.
Yeah, that's how he starts. That's the title of the book.
What about your
Very
question?
cool.
What about your question for us, Carmela?
Yes, my question is kind of a two-part, but if that's okay.
Yeah.
What state of the lower 48 contiguous states has rainforest, and what is the name of at least one of them?
All right, don't say anything, Carmela. We're going to talk amongst ourselves. Rainforest.
And she's saying
not a Hawaii, because I would think it'd be.
She said in the lower. She
Hawaii.
said in the 48.
Contiguous,
Right.
lower 48
Alaska and Hawaii
states.
don't count. Okay, I'm talking off the top of my head. Carmela, don't say. Is it Carmela?
Carmela.
Okay. Don't say anything. In answer to this, okay, the only state that I can think of that would fall into the rainforest type category would be, well, two states would be Oregon or Washington.
Right, Washington's what I'm thinking.
You wouldn't
Always
think like
rainy.
Florida or
Florida, I don't think they're
Louisiana?
rainforest. They're
No.
like muggy.
Yeah.
Like I don't know.
They're more along where you're supposed to be, like for subtropical.
Could
But
be
I'm
wrong.
going to go with Washington because it's always raining there, rainy and misty. And
What about it, Carmela?
Yes, you're correct. It is Washington. Do you know the name of one of those rainforests?
One of them was like.
Which is the one where they've spotted Bigfoot the most times? I'm trying to remember the name of that one because that's the one I want to go with.
There were two. They were side by side. One of them was Sonny, and the other one was Cher. Am I right? Am I right?
That's painful.
She laughed.
What's the answer, Carmela?
It's the Hoh rainforest, HOH, and the Quinault and the Queets.
Okay, that's very
The
interesting.
what and are these like Indian names? What is this?
Yes, yes. I lived in Washington for 10 years, and yes, those are all Indian names.
So a rainforest is where like it rains probably 50% of the time, but it's not necessarily a continuous drench. It's like a continuous light mist, right? With some rain.
Did you ever go hiking out there in any of those?
I did, yes, in the Hoh rainforest I've been to.
That had to be
it's
beautiful.
Right out on the. It is. It is beautiful. All the ferns and everything, and all the moss growing. It is quite beautiful.
Oh, that's great.
Well, Carmela, well done on answering and asking. We're going to put you on hold, and then Cindy Roberts will come on, and she'll get your information, and we'll send you the hat. And Tim was just kidding. Don't be expecting a book. I don't have a devotional titled "Every Day's a Monday."
No, but you got some great ideas for one.
I do have some great ideas.
Every day's a Monday. That's
Yeah.
a good title for one. Ed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just kind of bracing wake me up kind of book. All right. God bless you, Carmela.
JJ's got a graduation speech that he does, which is very popular.
Right? Give 110%?
No,
Very
it's called
predictable.
It's called Life Ain't Fair.
Life ain't.
Yeah, and JJ does a good job with that.
Yeah.
He prepares
out
all the
there.
students
That's right.
for what lies ahead, and it don't matter whether you give 110%.
And sometimes it doesn't matter if you're prepared. It's coming.
It's coming.
It's
I
coming
think you
down
got
the
me
road.
Mixed up with that guy who's pointing out in the crowd and he sees Pinocchio. No, it's Pinocchio giving the speech.
Yeah, he's
You're a
giving the
winner,
speech.
you're a
He said,
winner.
"You can. Everybody here can succeed." And then his nose starts to grow. It's like, except for you, because he's looking at somebody. Maybe not you. All right, Trivia Friday on American Family Radio. Tim, Ed, and JJ. And let's repeat our questions quickly for the last time this half hour.
All right. First question is a multiple choice. Burkina Faso is a name. Is it a name of a character in the Star Wars universe, a country in Africa, a radical Islamic group in the Philippines, or a swimwear company popular with Gen Z?
Wow, that's a wide range.
There's a fifth option here.
Yeah.
A boy band.
A boy band, Burkina Faso?
A boy band, like Marky Mark and and those guys.
Yeah, Burkina Faso.
They opened for them.
Yes.
I mean, people don't know that.
I love this name, but I'm just going to say it like all weekend, drive my wife crazy.
Burkina Faso.
But there's so many options when you
there
think
are.
about
You can go a lot of different directions.
what could this be a name of?
Burkina Faso. Go ahead, JJ.
Burkina. No, I got
He's
two
got
more
two
questions.
more.
Sorry.
In the 400-meter hurdles in the Olympics, for example, how many hurdles will a runner jump in the 400-meter hurdles? And third question, what is the name of the large river that flows through London?
Here's what I've got. I haven't had a nibble. My bobber has not even wobbled or gone under, not even once.
That's disappointing.
Here's what I got. 4 U.S. states do not allow billboards. Billboards alongside of the highway, illegal in 4 states. Name 2 of them. Second question, what American singer-songwriter wrote and recorded the song, first recorded Blue Suede Shoes, and it's not Elvis. Third question, brackets, March Madness. Let's see how good your memory is from last year. The Final Four last year, the 4 teams, I just want you to name 3 of them. Name 3 of the teams that were in the Final Four in 2024.
All right. My question, the last question I have remaining for this half hour is the following. Clementines, Tangelos, and Temples are types of what? Those 3 words are types of what? The Clementines, the Tangelos, they live down the street.
I tried to date one of the Tangelo girls.
Tangelo girl. The
I couldn't get anywhere with the Burkina Fasos, but Tangelos.
So you moved on to the Tangelo girls.
Yeah, I tried to date
Wow.
one of them.
Wow.
I got turned down all up and down that
No
street.
wonder you're an inspirational speaker today. All right, and temples. So Clementines, Tangelos, and temples are types of what? You're listening to.
I think cults. Everybody knows if they ever seen them in their robes and doing all that stuff, setting them Tesla.
The Tangelos?
No, them ones you mentioned, those names of those cults. They're burning down Tesla factories and setting people on fire. And
Well, the Clementines, they're known for that.
that's right.
The Clementines, they're a bad bunch right there, like the Sopranos. You know? Clementines.
That Clementine gang.
They live down south.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Clementine gang is
The
tough.
Alcatraz, not tough enough to keep all them Clementines.
No. They like horse heads fall from the ceiling and stuff at the Clementines. If you get in their area and mess with them,
yes,
you don't know.
Horse heads fall from the ceiling. What kind of? You're gonna cause me to have nightmares. What's going on inside that?
There's a
head
little
here?
movie with that scene.
Oh, I
there.
missed that.
Good news and bad news. The good news is it's not raining cats and dogs. The bad news is it's raining horse heads.
You know what I'm talking about, don't you? Ed?
Oh yeah, that's from
I
the
have
first
no idea.
first Godfather.
Oh,
Heads,
okay.
heads.
It didn't rain them, but
Right.
well, you found one in the bed. Anyway, it's a long.
All right, you're listening to Trivia Friday on American Family Radio. Tim, Ed, and JJ. Back to the phones, Ed.
All right, we go to Oklahoma, and Frank is on the line. Frank, welcome to Trivia Friday.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, Frank,
here,
where do you live in Oklahoma?
Lawton, Oklahoma.
All right. Well, welcome to the program. You want to ask, answer, or do both, sir?
I think I've got both.
All right. Which one you want to try to answer?
The one that he needs a nibble or a bite.
Oh, JJ.
Yes, sir.
Helping JJ
Thank
out
you.
here.
Thank
All right,
you,
JJ.
Frank.
Go ahead. Which one of
okay,
JJ's questions is it so he can repeat it?
Blue suede shoes.
All right.
Here's the question. What American singer-songwriter wrote and first recorded the song Blue Suede Shoes?
Carl Perkins.
Carl Perkins.
There you go.
A little bit of backstory, Frank. 1956, Johnny Cash, somebody in the military, they got a pass for the weekend. He said, I'm going to put on my blue suede shoes and, have a big time or whatever. Well, then he suggested to Carl and Elvis and Johnny Cash, they toured a little bit together. And he had told that story about being in the Army. You ought to write a song about it. And he didn't. Well, then he was on stage a while later, and they stopped the song to go to the next one. And one guy was complaining to his date. He said, "You were stepping all over my blue suede shoes." And then Carl went home after that and wrote that. So a little bit of inspiration from Johnny Cash and that. And it was the very first rock and roll song that topped the pop, R&B, and country charts. First song in America that was swept across there and hit and got in
Number one on all three charts.
Yeah, went across. I don't know if it's number one or maybe top whatever 10 or something. But anyway, it set a record. And then whenever Elvis did it, then it just went, supersonic. Hey, nicely done there. And he's from the Jackson, Tennessee area.
Okay.
I believe. Hey, good job, Frank. Do you have a question for us?
That $1 Million Quartet, they did that in Branson, and that's probably where I got that information.
Wow. Hey, tell us
Wait a minute.
four guys.
They
the
did what? They did
Quartet.
what in Branson? Is that a show in Branson or something?
Yes, it's a $1 Million Quartet. It's got Johnny Cash, Carl Perkins, Elvis Presley.
Elvis's cousin, whatever his name.
Jerry Lee Lewis.
Yeah, Great Balls of Fire.
Yeah, Jerry Lee Lewis. Yeah.
Oh, $1 Million
Jerry Lee
Sun Recording Studio, Memphis, Tennessee. That's where they all
Yeah, I like
gathered,
that.
and they called it the $1 Million Quartet.
So they got a show based on that. Is what you're saying in Branson?
They sure do. It's real
Okay.
good.
All right.
I'll
Well,
put in a plug for Branson.
yes,
Good.
sir.
Frank, what's your question for us?
All right. I had a few of them. I had to figure it out. They're pretty technical. Okay.
Okay.
This is one that I ask my grandkids all the time until they finally figure it out. Geese, when they fly over Oklahoma, they fly in a V. And if you look up at them, one line is almost always extremely longer than the other one. What scientific reason do they do that?
Because there's more geese in one side than the other. That's why it's
I
longer.
was trying to throw you off on my.
I knew you were. You got to get up
So
pretty early in the
give me the
morning,
Q&A
Frank.
real quick again. Give me the Q, Frank, and then JJ can give me the A.
Okay, you may tell you again?
Yeah, please.
You know what you mean? Okay, in Oklahoma, whenever geese fly over, they always fly in a V.
Yeah.
And one line is always significantly longer than the other one. Why is that?
JJ's answer is?
More geese on one side than the
More
other.
geese.
That's why it's longer.
So it's sort of a trick question.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, where do we get
I
the
do have another
expression your goose is cooked? Where do we get that from?
Back when people used to eat geese, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, people, that was a delicacy, like the turkey.
Have you ever eaten a goose, Frank? You ever eaten a goose?
No.
Have you,
I
JJ?
shot one accidentally, but I didn't eat it.
I know they're mean.
Oh, geese?
Yeah, they're mean. We've had them. Huh?
They deserve to be shot sometimes.
Listen, when they get to a certain age, they just get real bossy.
It's
my
an
wife,
age
my
thing.
wife loves
people like that.
animals.
Too.
Yes, it's true.
Think about it.
My wife loves animals, so we've had miniature goats and chickens and ducks, and we
like Noah
had pigs, and I've enjoyed being around them. But the geese, you can take them and drop kick them into the next county.
As far as you care.
We didn't shoot them. We gave them away to someone who had a lake. Had a lake. Yes, had a lake.
Hey, Frank, change the subject. I'm headed to Weatherford, Oklahoma. I'll be in your state in just a little over a week. I've never been to Weatherford, as you know, right there on the historic Route 66. So I'd appreciate prayers. It is April the 1st, First Choice Pregnancy Resource Center banquet, and I'm excited to be headed your way.
All right. Thank you, Brother Frank from Oklahoma, from Lawton, right?
Yeah.
Next up, Ed.
All right. We go to back to Texas, and Jeffy is on the line. Jeffy, welcome to Trivia Friday.
Okay, first of all, it's Jesse, not Jeffy.
Jesse, my apologies.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. No problem. And I want to thank you and Tim yesterday for preaching during today's issues because y'all helped me make a good decision.
Oh, well, praise the Lord for using all sorts of people and all sorts of circumstances.
We explained the gospel.
Yeah.
And yesterday.
At first, I got kind of aggravated because I wanted to hear more about today's issues, but then y'all hit my heart really good. So,
Amen. Well, praise the Lord. God used that discussion. And we rejoice with you too, brother. Thank you. So, well, amen. You want to ask, answer, or do both, Jesse?
Well, I'd like to do both, if that's all right.
Absolutely. Which question would you like to try to answer?
Well, I'd like to answer yours on the river in London.
All right. What is the name of the large river that flows through London?
That would be the Thames River.
That's right. The Thames River flows through London.
How's that spelled, Jesse?
I believe it's Thames.
It is.
That's right. That's right.
It is.
Hooked on Pahonics.
It flows right. What does it flow right by?
The Buckingham Palace, I believe.
Yeah, Big Ben.
Yeah,
and the London Bridge.
What about that giant Ferris wheel? Isn't that right there on the river's edge?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Well, it's in the scenes of downtown London. If you're talking about
right
when Tom Cruise jumps from the bridge jumps onto the Ferris wheel.
There we go. There we go.
I don't believe you did that stuff yourself. I don't believe it.
Hey, Jess.
Hold on,
Jesse. We've got to take a break. 5-minute break. Can you produce? Can you hold on for us?
Yes, sir. I sure can.
Hey, you're in Texas, Jesse. So we're going to ask you to hold your horses.
Horses. Okay.
The views and opinions expressed in this broadcast may not necessarily reflect those of the American Family Association or American Family Radio.
Faith, family, freedom. American Family Radio.
If God could speak, what would he say? The Bible subjects itself to historical verification.
He says, we saw this. We go to the Bible wanting to hear what the living God has to say to us.
When God speaks, what does he say?
The God who speaks. Visit stream.afa.net. This is American Family Radio, a listener-supported ministry of the American Family Association.
American Family News, I'm Rusty P. London's Heathrow Airport is closed for the rest of the day after a fire knocked out power in the area. Greg Palcott has the latest from Heathrow Airport.
What is usually Europe's busiest airport, Heathrow, now it's arguably Europe's quietest, completely shut down, all due to what is being described by officials as a significant fire at an electrical substation overnight, about 2 miles from where we are right now. It has been brought under control, but the power knocked out to the airport. We're seeing at least 2 of the main terminals have no juice at all, and that is diverting or canceling hundreds of flights, affecting and in some cases stranding hundreds of thousands of passengers. Some planes diverted to other airports here and in Europe. Some planes sent back to their departure airports. One plane leaving from Dallas had to make a U-turn mid-Atlantic.
President Trump signing an executive order Thursday to scale down the Department of Education as part of a campaign promise to give states more control of education. But is the measure popular enough to become permanent through Congress? Lydia Hu explains.
We have a new Fox News poll showing us how voters feel about closing the Department of Education. 65% of voters are opposed to it. That breaks out like this. 92% of Democrats are opposed, 33% of Republicans, and 81% of independents. Ultimately, Congress would have to approve the department's closure. President Trump's order yesterday is a step toward dismantling the department. The order directs Education Secretary Linda McMahon to facilitate the closure as permitted by law. Federal dollars pay for less than 14% of public education. The Department of Education spent $268 billion last year.
Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin says the executive order to dismantle the Department of Education will only help states like Virginia.
And what this does is allow states to run education, which Virginia has been doing in an incredibly aggressive and effective way since our administration came in. We have restored excellence in the classroom. We've provided transparency and accountability to the performance of schools. We have worked hard to reestablish a system that allows students to not just soar, but to raise the ceiling and the floor. And we went to work to tackle learning loss, of course, because schools were closed for far too long during the pandemic.
President Trump also signing an executive order to expedite and expand American production of critical minerals. Edward Lawrence explains.
The order uses the Defense Production Act to speed up the production and mining of critical rare earth minerals. Now, the president using this wartime authority because he realizes the U.S. needs these minerals to survive in the future. Now, yesterday, the step was taken unexpectedly, and in fact, new processing centers and mining operations for rare earth minerals have been bogged down in regulations and restrictions here in the U.S. So at the moment, China controls 60% of rare earth mining and about 85% of the processing worldwide. These elements are in everything from fighter jets the U.S. makes to cell phones that we all use.
Religious Freedom Institute is urging lawmakers in Maryland to protect the religious liberty of kids, parents, and healthcare providers.
In this case, religious liberty means the right of healthcare providers with sincere religious objections to say no, they will not give puberty blocker medications to minors. In Maryland, only kids who are age 15 or younger are required to get parental consent before getting puberty blockers. Nathan Berkeley is Associate Vice President for U.S. Strategies at the Religious Freedom Institute, or RFI.
For kids who are 16, 17, or 18, they do not have to receive parental consent first before receiving such treatments. And so last year, the same delegate who introduced this bill called the Protect Kids Act tried to fill that loophole with legislation. It failed. And what she has done now, coming back this year, is to introduce a bill that prohibits any use of puberty blockers for the purpose of enabling so-called gender transition for any minors, 18 and younger.
RFI reports that delegate's name is Lauren Erickson. Berkeley said, in effect, this is an issue that should be concerning to many.
It's people of faith who tend to raise objections to this. Bills like this in the state of Maryland would protect those people. These are religious families and religious healthcare providers who have conscientious objections to enabling a child in particular to go down this path of so-called gender transition.
I'm Bronson Woodruff.
For American Family News, I'm Rusty Pugh.
The most important news ever is proclaimed on the new AFR Easter button. He is risen. Wear the button to remind those who see it that Jesus is alive and interceding for us from heaven. Order your AFR Easter buttons at $15 per 10-pack at resources.afa.net or by calling 877-927-4917. Remember, Resurrection Sunday is April 20th. Order your AFR Easter buttons today at 877-927-4917.
This is Trivia Friday. The number to call with your question or your answer to a question is 888-589-8840. Now, back to more Trivia Friday.
Hey, welcome back, everybody, to Trivia Friday on American Family Radio. We hope you're having a great day. Wherever you may be listening to American Family Radio across the
fruited plains.
Fruited plain, or even if you're not on a fruited plain.
Right.
If you're on a mountaintop somewhere.
Yes. Or in a rainforest.
Or in a rainforest. Wherever you may be listening, thanks for listening. And some people listen outside the country.
Yes.
We have a lot of folks who listen internationally, and we thank you for listening. Did you want to?
Well, I was going to say, JJ, where are you going to be? You going to be traveling? I know you said something about We're going to be going back to Jesse here in just a second. But
yeah, thank you for making mention of that. I'm going to be in Weatherford, Oklahoma, April the 1st, First Choice Pregnancy Resource Center banquet. I'm just so excited about that. Grateful for the pregnancy centers across the country. Find out where one is near you. They need your prayers and volunteers and diapers and donations. So I'm really excited about that. I appreciate the prayers.
Amen. Amen. I'm sorry, but Jesse apparently has dropped off. Sometimes that happens. We apologize if it's on our end. Maybe Jesse had to go somewhere. But sorry about that, Jesse, if that is our fault. So, shall we continue?
Yeah, should we do the questions now for the last time for the show?
No,
wait.
We could wait till
okay.
15 after or something.
Okay. I think go ahead.
Or we can do them twice this half hour, whichever one you want to do.
Tell me when I'm not trying to force this, but whenever I can do my reverse mortgage ad, I've got to do that sometime during this half hour.
Yeah, you're contractually obligated
to do a reverse mortgage.
Yeah.
Just so let me.
You know what? Go ahead and do that. I'd kind of like to hear that now.
Okay. Well.
Well, hey, can I just say something before you do that?
You're going to be in Weatherford.
No. Yes, I am. No, I want to make mention about. I want to remind people about their extended car warranties.
Yes,
because I haven't heard back from those texts that I sent out.
Yes.
Well, I'm just saying that if you are looking to buy eggs, you need a reverse mortgage.
Yes,
because that's important.
That's kind of necessary.
That's where we are.
Actually, the prices have dropped some.
What, on eggs?
Yeah.
Yes, they have fuel, eggs, and.
I wouldn't know at all. I don't grocery store. Once every couple months, maybe. Go in there and get some whatever.
Yeah.
Bottled water and butter.
Bottled water and butter.
What are you making? What kind of recipe?
I don't know.
You
made that up.
You might as well just go get a pizza.
You need to leave here and go see your doctor. Our nutritionist.
Bottled water and butter.
Yes.
That bottled water and butter diet, I tell you what, you can drop some serious
that
weight.
Diet, they ain't got nothing over on you. Bottled water and butter.
If they ever say butter's unhealthy for you,
it just
I'm just quitting.
I just forget it.
Forget it. All right.
I've explained how I went almost my whole life not eating anything, having butter. Because I was told growing up that it was bad for you, and my parents bought margarine, which tasted terrible. And when I married my wife, she would, you want a piece of buttered toast? I'd say no. I ate toast dry because I thought butter tasted like margarine, and I couldn't stand margarine growing up. So it was just probably 3 years ago. My wife gave me a bite of her toast with butter, and I thought, oh, my goodness.
Look what you've been missing.
This is delicious. So I feel ripped off.
Yeah. Well, actually, did you eat margarine for 25 years?
No, I wouldn't eat it. I mean,
good for you, because you wouldn't be here.
Yes.
If you ate margarine for 25 years.
Because when I was young, the quote-unquote science said butter's bad for you.
I know.
And use margarine, and it tasted like wax.
Well, you
know
who started that when he was 25 years old, right?
Who?
Anthony Fauci. He was right out of college. He said, I'm going to make butter a misery for Americans.
Yeah.
So, and then he tried to put in the margarine shot for everybody. Do you remember these days?
Yeah, the margarine shot, yeah. Well,
he was on Sonny and Cher one night.
That hurt going in, I'll tell you that.
Anthony Fauci tried to sing. I noticed him in that. Anyway.
My second cousin ate a lot of margarine, him and his old lady. And he's my second cousin twice removed. And he's heavy on that margarine. Margarine is a little bit of a sad story. He passed away, and he was gone 5 weeks before anybody realized he was dead. He moved kind of slow to begin with. He sat out there on the porch in that chair, that cane chair. Well, and, he was gone 5 weeks, and I realized that margarine just kept him so lifelike.
He lived by the Hackmans, didn't he?
Oh,
what?
Man. Too soon. Too soon.
Talking about didn't discover them. Bless him. I think we need to reset this here show.
All right.
Because, for several reasons, which we don't have time
I'll
to
go ahead and I'll do my questions.
Go.
How's that?
And then we really do need to get back to the.
Yes, absolutely.
Because there's a point to this hour and a half.
Folks are waiting. All right. I have 2 questions remaining. First one is a multiple choice.
Multiple choice.
Burkina Faso is a name. Is it a name of a character in the Star Wars universe, a country in Africa, a radical Islamic group in the Philippines, or a swimwear company popular with Gen Z?
Hold up. I just remembered what it was. Wasn't that lion holding that little baby cub over that cliff? Isn't that what he said? Say that again.
Burkina Faso.
Burkina Faso.
Yes.
I think it's
just came to me from the Lion King.
Kind of margarine. The Burkina Faso margarine line?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of that?
No. I stayed away from margarine. Burkina Faso.
Yeah.
That's comes at the end of Hakuna Matata.
That is fun to say.
It is.
People with their own restaurant, you're missing a good opportunity to put that on the menu. I don't care what it is.
That's
Just
right.
Put it on the menu. People will order it because of the way it sounds.
In the 400-meter hurdles in the Olympics or other track and field events, how many hurdles will a runner jump in the 400-meter hurdles? All right, that's all I've got.
Here's what I've got. First question. 4 U.S. states do not allow billboards. Name 2 of them. Second question. Name 3 of the teams that made it to the Final Four last year. I just need for you to name 3. That's what I've got.
All right, my question for the final time today, we will mention this question. Clementines, tangelos, and temples are types of what? And back to the phones.
All right, let's go to Mississippi. David is on the line. David, welcome to Trivia Friday.
Yeah, I'm here. Let me turn off my radio. I'm outside doing some yard work.
All right.
Okay.
Well, hey, you need to take a break in case it warms up. Drink you some lemonade. David, welcome to the program. You want to ask, answer, or do both?
I'd like to do both.
All right. Which one you want to try to answer?
Oh, the Burkina Faso one.
All right. Good. I got a taker. All right.
Good.
Here are the options. Burkina Faso is a name. Is it a name of a character in the Star Wars universe, a country in Africa, a radical Islamic group in the Philippines, or a swimwear company popular with Gen Z? What say you, David?
It's a country in southwestern Africa.
It is a country in Africa. Way to go. Now, I was proud of all those options that I came up with.
Yeah, you did good with all those made up
I tell you what, for a ball cap, who's the president of Burkina Faso,
No,
David?
for a case of ball caps.
For what now?
I have no idea, but 30 years ago, it was the poorest country in the world. That I do know. My brother, 30 years ago, my brother and sister-in-law worked as missionaries for several years. That's how I knew that.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Wow. That's something.
It was the 4th poorest country in Africa or the world, did you say?
I think it was the poorest in the world, poorest or the second poorest in the whole world at the time. This is going back 31 years ago now.
Okay.
Hey, David, my daughter Maddie is in Kajabi, Kenya. She's a missionary / teacher there.
I've heard you talk about her. I'm a long-time listener, first-time caller.
What wonderful. Thank you for listening to AFR.
Well, David, well done on that question. What is your question for us, brother?
Well, I really wasn't prepared, so I'll just do it off the top of my head. I think I have a question that I know the answer for, and you all probably know. If not, you can Google it and get the right one. But what is the only river that flows from south to north instead of north to south?
It flows from south to north?
Okay, David, don't say yes or no. We're going to talk amongst ourselves. I think that's the Nile. Isn't the Nile flow from south to north? I think it does.
Oh, you mean like in the world?
Yeah.
He's talking about in the world?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
One little section in I think in Virginia, the New River, it goes from south to north for just one little section. But that's probably not the right answer.
I don't know. There's like waterfalls under the ocean. I know that. I know that, but I don't know about this one. Huh?
I'm going to go with Nile. You guys have another guess?
No, I've already given mine.
All right, what's the answer, David?
I'm 99% sure that it is the River Nile. But
Wow.
I know and have access to a computer. Y'all can Google it, see if I'm wrong. But I actually, going back further in time, 40 years ago, I worked there for 2 years right out of college, 35 years ago, actually.
In Egypt?
And I'm pretty sure yes, I worked in Alexandria, Egypt for 2 years.
Okay.
Wow.
You know, you and your
I know it
brother,
does go from south to north, and I believe it's the only one that does that.
you guys have some interesting, missionaries.
amen.
You living over there. That's exciting.
Yeah, we were actually MKs. We actually grew up in Israel. I was actually born there, so there's a long story behind all that. I was there for most of my life till I moved to Pascagoula. Been in Pascagoula for 33 years, and now that's my home.
What a blessing.
You lived in Israel? Is that what you said?
Yes, I was born just outside of Tel Aviv. My first 18 years actually grew up in Nazareth. So Jesus' hometown was my hometown, and didn't think nothing of it since I was born there. That was my home, so everybody there wanted to be in U.S. They think of California, Texas, Chicago, big cities. People there don't realize how big the U.S. is. They have an uncle, one East Coast, and another uncle in the West Coast, and think you can go travel and see them in one day.
Yeah.
Because Israel's so small, it's basically the same size as Delaware or Rhode Island, is the size of the whole country of Israel.
Yep.
Hey, David, I want to throw something out. We clown around a lot, but I'm serious about this. You need to pray about writing a book. If for no other reason, posterity for your children, grandchildren. That is a very, very interesting life. You need to document that because, your grandkids, they're not going to remember all those details, but that really is fascinating, and it sounds like you've got a lot of wonderful testimonies of what the Lord's done in your life.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you, David.
David, good to hear from you there in Mississippi. You're listening to Trivia Friday on American Family Radio. Tim, Ed, and JJ. Who's up next, Ed?
All right, we go to Arkansas, and Robert is on the line. Robert, welcome to Trivia Friday.
It's good to be on, finally.
Wonderful, Robert.
Where do you live in Arkansas?
Mm-hmm.
I live in a small town north of Little Rock called Cabot.
Oh, I was in Cabot last week.
Hey,
great area.
Yeah. Robert.
Evidently, I missed you.
Well, it was a widow's luncheon at First Baptist Church in Cabot, and they just did a great job.
Probably why I missed you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Well, Robert, do you want to ask, answer, or do both?
I'm going to do both.
All right, which one you want to answer?
Hurdles.
The hurdles, all right. In the 400-meter hurdles in track and field, how many hurdles will a runner jump?
10.
10 is correct.
10
hurdles.
Wow.
In the 400 meters.
I was thinking 4.
That's a lot of opportunity to bust your shin.
Yeah, it sure is.
Other things.
That was a question for my granddaughter, Stella.
Good job, Stella.
And so how did you know that, Robert? Did you run track and field?
Well, I was in field, but, of course, we had to run track that, the amount of hurdles I could jump would be less than 1.
Okay, less than 1. All right. Well, you got the answer to the question correct. Well done. What's your question for us?
Well, are you going to give away more than 4 hats today?
Well,
we haven't landed on the mystery question yet, have we?
And the mystery question.
No.
Yeah, you got a chance to land on the right one.
It's already.
It's still up for
I
grabs.
haven't heard any cowbells, that's for sure.
Right. Well, if you land on the right question and answer it correctly, you got a chance to finish out the program.
Already swung and missed on that one, though, hadn't he?
But I already swung and missed
Oh,
on
that's
the
right.
hurdle.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he did. So that's
what's your question for us?
Disappointing.
Mine is a very spiritual question. What has 2 knees and swims?
2 knees.
What has 2 knees and swims?
Uh-huh.
Toonie fish? I think that's it.
Is that right?
Fish.
That was it.
What?
Way to go.
I got 5
Toonie
grandkids. You got to get down there on that lower shelf. Toonie fish.
Toonie fish.
Said the man from Arkansas.
Oh, that's, well, okay.
Hey, thanks, buddy. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, Brother Robert.
Toonie fish.
Toonie fish.
I kind of like that.
That flows off your tongue like the word drool.
You're listening to Trivia
Rolls
Friday.
off your tongue.
on American Family Radio, and we are taking your calls. We got about 9 minutes left.
That's right, coming down to the wire. Let's go to
edition.
Alabama. What do you guys say about that? Wes is patiently waiting. Wes, welcome to Trivia Friday.
Hey, thanks, guys. Good morning.
Thank you, Wes. Where do you live in Alabama?
I live in Tuscumbia, and Tim actually met you a few weeks back when we had the dinner at Odette Restaurant in Florence.
Oh, yes, sir. Yeah, Wes. That was we enjoyed that night. Absolutely.
Yeah, it was. It was a good time, so I appreciate it. Thanks for all y'all do.
Well, thank you. We have a lot of listeners and supporters in the Quad Cities area there in northwest of Alabama. Beautiful city there out on the river. All right, Wes, so ask, answer, or both?
Well, I'll do both, please.
All right, which one you want to answer?
Let me answer JJ's final 4 questions.
All right, here's the question.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking about last year, NCAA men's Final Four, all I need is for you to answer 3. Name 3 of the teams that made it to the Final Four last year.
Okay, so we've got UConn, Purdue, and my very own University of Alabama.
Yes,
that
sir.
is right.
Hey,
there you go.
What's that
There's
sound?
a mystery question.
All right, Wes, you obviously know what that cowbell is for. Let me finish out this question. So it was UConn, Purdue, Alabama. Do you know the other one?
LSU?
North Carolina.
North
I did
Carolina
have to look that one up.
State.
Yep.
And who won last year?
UConn.
It was UConn, I believe.
UConn beat Purdue, picking up their 6th national title. But, yeah, Alabama made it to the Final Four. You just won yourself a real good-looking AFR cap, my friend.
Okay.
Hey, cool. Thanks.
Well, so Wes, the choice is yours. You can either drive down here and pick it up, or we can send it through Memphis and
the
be there in
triangle.
It'll be there by
USPS.
next year's Final Four. We'll get it.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
you know what? I actually love driving down to Tupelo. I usually will drive down the Trace, but I don't go very often. So I guess I'll have to take my chances through Memphis.
All right. Well, we'll mail it to you. We'll mail it to you.
We'll do our part.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So you have a question for us, and make sure don't hang up when we're through. We'll put you on hold after your question, and we'll get your information and send the cap. What's your question for us?
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. All right, so my question, it ties into, I think it was Tim's question earlier about the 70s duos. Kind of ties into that, but anyways, so the Quad Cities, of course, I live in Tuscumbia, which is known as the birthplace of Helen Keller. You've got Florence, which is the birthplace of W.C. Handy. You've got Sheffield, which is where y'all's tower is, and also the birthplace of Mitch McConnell, I believe. But there's a 4th city. So it's a kind of a 2-part question. What is the name of that city? And this city was immortalized in a famous Leonard Skinner song. What's the name of the city, and what's the name of the song that it was made famous in?
Okay, Muscle Shoals, right?
That's correct.
And because that's the line in the Leonard Skinner Sweet Home Alabama song.
Yes, you've got it. Yeah.
Did I get
that's the answer?
Sweet Home
Oh,
Alabama.
that's the answer?
Right, Muscle Shoals.
And why don't you, Wes, do you know the story behind if you could be brief, the Swampers?
Yeah, just basically, and it's off the top of my head, but it's a group of studio musicians with fame, recording studio. They actually broke off and started their own studio, Muscle Shoals Sound, but they were very well or popular, I guess. A lot of the artists. Of course, Muscle Shoals is known as the hit recording capital of the world. So I think Donnie Marie, the Osmonds, I think Cher recorded in Muscle Shoals. So a lot of the Rolling Stones, a lot of famous artists recorded here, but they oftentimes would get the Swampers to come and to play in their recordings. So, yeah,
that's right.
Motown, so many others, Wishbone, Fame, those other studios, and people would record in California or Muscle Shoals, and these artists would say, no, I want that Muscle Shoals sound, kind of like the horns and the different things, but they had a very unique sound, and it was amazing, all the artists that would descend on tiny Muscle Shoals there for all those.
Know that.
There was a recording studio on every corner, like in the 80s, I want to say.
Wow.
Yeah, very famous for music.
All right, Wes, I'm going to put you on hold, and Cindy Roberts will get your information. Well done, sir, and hope you enjoy that ball cap.
I tried to make it there. And
Singing? You singing?
No,
career?
my cello.
Your cello? This is after your
in,
attempt to make the NBA?
It was in the 80s.
80s?
And I had my cello.
You waited tables for a while.
This is a
so you gave it a big effort. You were waiting tables.
I could tell.
You had your cello slung over your shoulder.
I hitchhiked from Tupelo to Muscle Shoals.
Come on.
I could tell it was painful.
With a banjo, with a cello on your knee.
I had
the pain in your voice.
I had my. Well, that was my shot. You know,
all you have to do is
quivering
break in.
lip.
If you just get your cello on the door.
I wanted to be one of the Swampers.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I got up there, and they said, "We don't allow no cello people here."
Yeah, don't call us.
You know, I said, I thought y'all weren't bigots. And
no cello people.
No cello. They don't want any cello people.
That was before DEI.
So I packed it up, came back home.
Came back home.
Gave up my dream.
Yes.
And
one of your many dreams.
Then the NBA started trying out for the NBA after that.
Yeah.
But my knee.
Your knee gave way. Well, that might have been from you hitchhiking all the way to Muscle Shoals with that cello.
You tote that cello?
You
hitchhike with a cello and tell me it doesn't affect your knees.
And that's what you have to do with a cello. You have to tote it.
That's the word right there, tote.
You have to. It's not like you can go on a plane and stow it.
I'm not here to talk about myself. Okay, let's move on.
Sure could have fooled us.
Well, do we even have time?
We don't have time for anything else.
Well, I tell you what. Next week we'll get this caller. Is it Chris?
We got
Chris,
Connie,
and Connie.
Cindy, if you'll get Chris and Connie's phone number, we'll get them on first next week.
So Chris in Texas and Connie from Iowa.
Right.
We will. Cindy's going to try to get your information, and we'll try to get you back next week because we kind of fumbled the end here while we were talking, and Tim was sharing his heart.
I was sharing my heart.
Yeah,
I was just reliving my story.
We don't
because I haven't talked about it to even my grandchildren yet.
You can't quench that when a man is sharing his heart.
When it's too painful.
Yeah.
You go all the way with your cello, and then you find out these people don't even accept you. They don't even accept you.
No cellos allowed.
No cellos allowed. That's right. I'd turn around.
That is a brutal lesson in life.
That's right.
To find out that kind of prejudice.
I'm going to write a book about it one day.
Yeah.
Hey, we need to give our answer.
I might have all answered.
Here's what I've got. Which 4 U.S. states do not allow billboards?
I have no idea.
It is Hawaii, Alaska, Maine, and Vermont. And Oregon has got a little thing where no more new billboards.
Okay.
You have to take one down before you can put one up.
Clementines, tangelos, and temples are types of what?
Oranges.
I'm surprised somebody didn't answer.
No, you were incorrect, sir.
Tangerines.
Tangerines.
Oh, tangerines.
Yes.
But you're different than oranges.
Right.
Clementines, tangelos, and temples are types of tangerine.
They have different union stewards, and there's a lot of paperwork that differentiates the two.
All right. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thanks for listening to American Family Radio, and we'll see you on Monday.